In the late 1980s, acclaimed author Neil Gaiman attended a grand gathering of artists, scientists, and pioneers in Boston. Surrounding him were Nobel laureates, world leaders, and individuals who had fundamentally reshaped human history. Feeling utterly out of place, Gaiman stood in a corner, convinced that someone would eventually tap his shoulder and ask him to leave the building. Suddenly, an elderly man walked up to him, looked out at the room, and confessed that he too felt like an intruder who did not belong among such accomplished individuals. That elderly man was Neil Armstrong, the first human being to ever walk on the surface of the moon. If the man who conquered space felt like a fraud, why do so many of us share the exact same terrifying secret? From Albert Einstein and Maya Angelou to modern CEOs and award-winning actors, millions of high achievers live with a quiet, persistent fear that their success is merely a fluke and that at any moment, the world will finally unmask them. To understand why our minds play this cruel trick on us, we have to look back to the late 1970s. Before 1978, there was no formal name for this psychological torment. High achievers simply suffered in silence, assuming they were uniquely broken or exceptionally deceptive. Enter Dr. Pauline Clance and Dr. Suzanne Imes, two clinical psychologists working at Georgia State University. Throughout the 1970s, both researchers noticed a curious pattern among the students, faculty, and professionals they counseled in their private practices. They were working with individuals who possessed outstanding academic records, earned prestigious honors, and received glowing evaluations from colleagues and superiors. Yet, despite overwhelming objective evidence of their competence, these individuals consistently attributed their success to external factors like good luck, good timing, personal charm, clerical errors, or simply putting in an unreasonable amount of effort to trick people into thinking they were smart. In 1978, Clance and Imes published a groundbreaking paper titled The Imposter Phenomenon in High-Achieving Women, Dynamics and Therapeutic Intervention. They defined this condition not as a mental illness, clinical depression, or personality disorder, but as an internal experience of intellectual phoniness. While their initial study focused on a sample of 150 high-achieving women, subsequent research over the following decades revealed something even more staggering: the imposter phenomenon did not discriminate by gender, age, race, or industry. It was a pervasive human phenomenon affecting up to 70% of all people at some point in their lives. The history of imposter syndrome is filled with legendary figures who seemed completely immune to self-doubt on the outside, yet wrestled with it internally every single day. Shortly before his death in 1955, Albert Einstein confided in a close friend that the exaggerated esteem in which his life work was held made him feel very ill at ease, describing himself as an involuntary swindler. Decades later, celebrated author and poet Maya Angelou admitted that after writing 11 books and winning dozens of international awards, she still thought to herself every single time, "Oh, they are going to find out now, I have run a game on everybody." In 2011, Dr. Valerie Young expanded on Clance and Imes' foundational work by publishing her seminal book, The Secret Thoughts of Successful Women. Young identified 5 distinct subcategories of the imposter phenomenon, each driven by a unique internal rulebook. First is the perfectionist, who believes that unless every single task is executed flawlessly, they have completely failed. Second is the expert, who feels like a fraud if they do not know every single detail about a subject before speaking up. Third is the natural genius, who believes that if they have to work hard at something, it must mean they lack true talent. Fourth is the soloist, who feels that asking for help proves they are incompetent. And fifth is the superhuman, who measures their worth by how many roles they can juggle simultaneously. In 2019, researchers conducted a massive meta-analysis examining over 60 major studies on imposter syndrome spanning 40 years. They discovered that high performers are actually far more likely to suffer from imposter syndrome than low performers. When Oscar-winning actor Tom Hanks admitted in an interview that no matter what he achieved, he kept wondering when he would be discovered as a fraud, he was demonstrating a classic psychological paradox. The very traits that fuel high achievement, rigorous self-criticism, high personal standards, and constant self-evaluation, are the exact same fuel that feeds the fire of imposter feelings. So why does the human brain actively reject evidence of its own success? Psychologists point to several competing and overlapping theories. The first is cognitive distortion, specifically a phenomenon known as attribution bias. When an imposter succeeds, they attribute the win externally to luck, timing, or help from others. But when they fail or make a minor mistake, they attribute the error internally to their own lack of intelligence or capability. This asymmetric logic creates a closed loop where no amount of success can ever alter their core self-doubt. Another compelling explanation lies in the opposite of the Dunning-Kruger effect. While the Dunning-Kruger effect shows that incompetent people overrate their abilities because they lack the knowledge to realize how little they know, highly skilled individuals suffer from the opposite problem. As you gain expertise in a field, you become acutely aware of how vast the subject really is and how much you have left to learn. Consequently, experts often underestimate their relative standing compared to others. Pluralistic ignorance also plays a massive role. Humans only have direct access to their own internal monologue, complete with all its anxiety, self-doubt, and hesitation. When we look at others, we only see their polished exterior and confident public persona. We compare our messy internal realities to everyone else's curated external highlight reels, leading us to conclude that everyone else knows exactly what they are doing while we are merely faking it. Furthermore, developmental psychologists highlight early childhood family dynamics as a major cause. Children who were labeled as the smart one or the high-achieving one often grow up feeling immense pressure to maintain that label, leading to crippling anxiety whenever they face challenging tasks that do not come easily. Today, clinical psychologists emphasize that imposter syndrome is not a medical pathology to be cured, but rather a predictable byproduct of stepping outside your comfort zone and taking on ambitious challenges. Research demonstrates that acknowledging imposter feelings out loud significantly reduces their power over us. When high achievers share their vulnerabilities, it dismantles the illusion of universal perfection and helps break the cycle of pluralistic ignorance. Cognitive reframing techniques, such as keeping a physical evidence folder of accomplishments, separating feelings from objective facts, and accepting that perfection is an impossible standard, have proven highly effective in helping individuals manage these thoughts. While science has not eliminated self-doubt entirely, our modern understanding offers a comforting truth: feeling like an imposter is rarely a sign of incompetence. In reality, it is often proof that you care deeply about your work, hold yourself to high standards, and are actively pushing the boundaries of your potential. Have you ever felt like a fraud in your career or studies? Share your story in the comments below, because opening up about it is the first step to breaking its hold. If you enjoyed this deep dive into human psychology, hit the like button and subscribe for more documented journeys into the human mind.